At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Krueger, and it is Coffee with Krueger. I am finally back from vacation, what feels like about a 2-week vacation. My last broadcast was, I think it was last week, Monday. I did do a Tuesday morning update, and then I was gone all last week. We finally got back from Mexico on, I think it was a Wednesday night, Thursday morning. It was kind of one of those, we got home, I think it was like 2 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. It was kind of one of those long flights, kind of, you had to go through customs, the works, and we made it. We made it back, and we feel refreshed. I feel refreshed. I feel great. And this was just a much needed vacation, and it was just great. It was phenomenal. And hopefully you're able to follow me on Facebook and kind of follow along and kind of come with my wife and I on some of our travels and our trips, and shared some pictures and did some Coffee with Krueger's, kind of some unofficial ones from the road as well. And that was a lot of fun too. So glad many of you could join us and watch and enjoy it. Chappie is, of course, one of our regulars. She's checking back in here, and boy, yeah, saying welcome back to me and good morning to everyone. She's also saying she's praying for Southern California. It is devastating. And we're going to go over a little bit later some of the conditions that we're dealing with here in Southern California and what they can expect as they go into the weekend. But in the meantime, what do you say we take you to the forecast here and start off with Krueger's Quickcast. And of course, this is just kind of a quick look at what we got here throughout the day today here for us here in Northern California. So let's get you right into it. Take a look at the temperatures out there right now, and we are sitting at about 41 degrees in Redding, 40 in Red Bluff, a little bit warmer in Oroville at about 48 degrees. We're sitting at 24 in Alturas, and those temperatures along the coast are in the mid to upper 40s at the current hour. Let's take you out to the satellite image here, and if you notice kind of that line of clouds that's from Seattle and then making its way to the west of Bandon, that is a disturbance that is going to be pushing through this morning and afternoon. This is going to bring some of us showers. Not everyone, but some of us will see a chance for some showers here, which we'll get into that here in just a bit. This morning it's dry, and it will be dry even at 8 o'clock this morning. But there will be some clouds coming in advance of that system coming in. And I think everyone, even if you don't see rain, everyone will at least see some clouds moving in here. Also need to mention there's a beach hazard statement for today until 6 p.m. Sneaker waves, right? We talk about these sneaker waves. That is essentially those unexpected waves that can kind of catch you off guard if you're hanging out on the beach. They can sweep you under your feet. If you're kind of rock hopping, it's a very dangerous situation. So not a good idea to be out on the beach here today. So again, you can see the clouds coming in from the west. That's the disturbance that'll be pushing on through. And as we take a look at Futurecast, here's 10 o'clock this morning. You see how it's mainly over Del Norte County, but it is just beginning to approach northern Humboldt County. We take you into about midday, northern Humboldt, even places like around Eureka, stray sprinkle or light shower. You'll notice in western Siskiyou County, we're seeing that line of showers there. Then we take you to about 1, 2 o'clock this afternoon. It's now moving through central and eastern Siskiyou County. Now you'll notice Del Norte County at this point, you're dry. And you'll probably be dry for the rest of the afternoon. Northern Trinity County, north of Highway 299, maybe a chance for some light showers. And that'll, of course, be the case later this afternoon for Modoc County, seeing some light showers. And you'll also notice in northern and northeastern Shasta County, around Bernie, and even to the south and west of that, maybe a light shower or sprinkle or two as well. But I do expect dry conditions for everyone else, including Lassen County and Plumas counties as well. And then, of course, you can see 5 o'clock this afternoon is pretty much done with. Clouds are clearing out here tonight and into tomorrow morning, making for a clear start to the day. But I do need to mention, and of course we'll talk about this in the deeper dive forecast, we will be dealing with some more winds for some of us over the weekend. For today, temperatures in the upper 50s to about 60 for the valley. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s for the higher elevations, mid-50s out along the coast. Let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for the valley. We're not going to see much change. Upper 50s to low 60s for the next 7 days. no rain. No rain today, no rain this weekend, no rain most likely through next week. Now, we do have that chance for the coast, especially this morning, but by the afternoon it dries out. That's the case for the inland areas as well. Take you out to Siskiyou, Modoc, and the Eastern Mountains. Of course, Siskiyou County, midday, early afternoon, some showers. Showers later this afternoon for Modoc County and Alturas in particular. Susanville, you'll be dry, but it's cooling off over the weekend, by the way. See, today we're in the low 50s, in the low 40s for Mount Shasta. As we go into Saturday, Sunday, around 40 for Alturas and low 40s for Susanville as well. So, yeah, I mean, again, we do have that chance today, but nothing significant. And, of course, that drier pattern sticking around for a while. There's a look at Lake Oroville. There's your live camera there. You can see the clear skies we have out there this morning. A little blurry with that camera image here, but you get the idea. You've got the clear skies there and calm conditions. The lake looking like glass. We're not looking at much wind blowing over the lake there. There's a look at Highway 32, Main Street, Chico. Looks like traffic is flowing okay there, looking pretty smooth. And you can see some of the traffic we have on Highway 99 at Neal Road. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Taking a look at Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive. Unfortunately, this is not a camera that is in motion, but you get the idea. That's what we're looking at right there. All right, let's take a look at NorCal Ag Report. Now, normally we do it on Thursday, but since I didn't get back until today, we have an Ag Report sponsored by Lassen County Nursery. Now, Jerry O'Lennon went out, and of course, as you know, we've got a new president and we've got a new administration coming into the White House. He wanted to ask some of the local ag people, especially in Butte County, what their thoughts are on the new administration and how that could possibly impact the ag community. So check out this week's Ag Report sponsored by Lassen Canyon Nursery.
Hi there, I'm Jerry O'Lennon for Weather NorCal, and this is the Ag Report sponsored by Lassen Canyon Nursery. Optimism is up for American farmers at its highest level in nearly 3 years. That's according to the latest Purdue University CME Group Ag Economy Barometer. According to the study, the election of a new administration has hopes for fewer regulations, lower energy costs, and a more stable policy. I went to a recent farmers market in downtown Chico to gauge sentiment here. I noticed two things. One, that the cost of doing business, of doing farming, has gone up, and it is worrisome. And two, they'd rather not talk politics in fear of losing potential customers. Is there an advantage to having a new administration in office starting in January for your business?
For our business, there's not nearly that big of an impact. What I would see is large farm conglomerates, their energy prices are more than likely going to go down, which also will cause their fertilizer prices to significantly drop. So their cost, them doing their business, is going to go down.
Well, will that trickle down to you at all in any way?
It will trickle down to us at a certain point.
Are you optimistic, pessimistic, or neutral about the coming year?
I'm optimistic. I'm always optimistic. You have to be. If you're not, things go sideways.
Hey, some people think that the new administration will be good for growers, good for business. Do you see it that way?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't. I think they'll make some attempts to improve some things, but I think they're going to struggle, honest to God.
Are you more optimistic or less optimistic based on the latest election? Do you feel better about things or about the same or less?
As a small market farm, we're more concerned about the climate and, I'm just always cautiously optimistic being a farmer and the challenges that we have with weather. And I think having an administration that tackles climate change would be the most beneficial.
Increasing costs are making it so that it's going to be much more difficult for us to continue farming here in California, Northern California.
Really? So are you thinking of moving or giving up your business?
I'm getting to that age where I'll probably retire one of these days, or expire, whichever comes first.
But the cost of doing business is what's leading this.
Even though you and I talked earlier, I said we're price bakers, not price takers. In other words, I set the price based on my costs, but there's only so much, people will only spend so much on food, and at some point they'll say, no, I'm going to eat something else. I'm going to eat a different type of food. I'm not going to come to buy from Baji at the farmer's market.
And there's your Ag Report, sponsored by Lassen Canyon Nursery. I'm Jerry O'Lennon for Weather NorCal.
Once again, I want to thank Lassen County Nursery for their sponsorship of the NorCal Ag Report. Without them, we would not have the Ag Report. And of course, Weather NorCal, without our sponsors, would not exist either. So once again, I want to thank Kenny Elwood from Lassen County Nursery and his support of NorCal Ag Report and Weather NorCal in general. Well, good morning, everyone. And before we kind of get into the deeper dive forecast, let's check in with some of you. We got a few people kind of checking in. Pretty quiet out there this morning. Maybe some people still not getting back in the routine of Mike Krueger and Coffee with Krueger kind of coming on back. But certainly appreciate those of you that are checking back in this morning. We got Curtis Brown, one of our regulars, saying, good morning, Mike and everyone. Welcome back. We've also got Brad Shaw saying, it's great to have you back. I understand about the needed time off. We have a daycare and took our first real vacation last summer. Well, congratulations to you. I hope your daycare is going great and that you were able to take some good time off. It's always good to kind of get that work-life balance. I got to tell you something too. When I was working in TV, one of the main rules is I was not allowed to take more than 5 straight days off. Simply for the fact of ratings and the works. And it was kind of frustrating because sometimes you want to take more than just that 5 days. Sometimes 5 days is great, but sometimes it's nice to get a little bit more time off than that. I remember there was one time, it was probably about 10 years ago, I took 2 weeks off. It was so refreshing to be able to take that time off. No, it wasn't quite 2 weeks, but it certainly felt like that, right? I was gone for an extended period of time, and let me tell you, it was so nice to just take off the forecast hat, not worry about the forecast, the works. Now, there were a few things that happened while I was gone. We had the power outage, but thank goodness, Chase Wilson was able to kind of take care of the 24-hour streaming channel and kind of get things back up and running. So I was very grateful that we had some people that were able to kind of fill in for me and keep things going here at Weather NorCal. So I was very grateful for that. Then, of course, there was the first tornado of 2025, and I wasn't here to cover it. I was in Mexico. I was in Chichen Itza, as a matter of fact, in that area when that all happened. But I will say this. I think Chase Wilson did a great job, at least covering it on social media, talking about the tornado that briefly touched down in eastern Tehama County. And it didn't last for very long, just for about 3 minutes. It was not even categorized because they didn't even go out because there were no reports of damage. But the only thing that was proof was, of course, the signatures on the radar and not to mention the images that you saw of the tornado from the cameras as well. So that's kind of what's going on there. And then, of course, I just wasn't feeling 100%. It was, I was kind of bummed out that I was kind of sick a little bit here during my vacation, but it was still great to get away and I really enjoyed myself. We've got Catherine Schmidt saying, what has she got saying here this morning? Welcome back. We're going through coffee withdrawals without you. But your crew did a wonderful job. Well, thank you. And I'm sure they appreciate that sentiment as well. Always good to know that I've got a great team of people that can back me up when I'm gone. And the cool thing is you saw Kelly Rawson for the first time. I'm excited to have her on board because now that she's trained, if I ever need some time off during the week when Chase can't fill in, then she can fill in, and it'll be kind of a nice thing for me if I during the week need a day off or something. It's usually not going to be something that's going to be very common, but sometimes it happens. Maybe I'll get a little sick. Maybe something can happen, and it'll be nice to have that extra set of hands to help me out when that time comes. So what do you say we get to the deeper dive forecast? And we're going to, of course, start off by talking about our sponsor, which is Coffee with Krueger, is made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. So once again, thanks to Wind River for their support of Coffee with Krueger and Weather NorCal in general. We love our sponsors. Without our sponsors, you would not get this free service that I have here with Weather NorCal, and certainly appreciative of that. And I'm sure you are also appreciative of our sponsors for that as well. Temperatures right now, as you can see, are mainly in the 40s for the valley, 20s for many of the higher elevations to the east. Although off towards the west in Trinity County, we're in the 20s and 30s there, mid to upper 40s right now along the coast. All right, so here is a look at your Coffee with Krueger headlines. Isolated coastal and mountain showers today. We're going to see that for the morning hours for the north coast. Then eventually this afternoon for Siskiyou and Modoc County, and even northern, northeastern Shasta County could see some activity as well. But it will be dry and mild this weekend with breezy and borderline windy conditions at times here throughout the weekend as well. Also, no big changes. You know, minus, of course, a slight chance for showers today. It's going to be dry for the extended period of time. Now, we did briefly mention, of course, what's going down in Southern California. We all know the devastation down there with the fires. So what's going on today? Well, there is a red flag warning for all of the areas in red right here. This is not good to see. It's through this afternoon. You'll also notice that we do have a wind advisory for the city of Los Angeles, but some of the surrounding areas, there is a high wind warning until 6 o'clock this afternoon. So looking at the overall trend, what's happening? Why did all of this happen in Southern California? Well, as you know, last week we saw quite the Santa Ana wind event develop, and due to the fact that we're looking at gusts 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, dry Santa Ana winds, and not to mention the fact that we're in drought conditions for Southern California. This is the drought monitor that was released this week, and you can see the areas of orange and kind of that tan color. That's in the moderate to severe range here for parts of Southern California. Now again, the fact that we just haven't seen much rain. Now, and again, when I say we, Southern California, because look at Northern California, there's no deficit there. However, I do want to point out real briefly here that you'll see here in Lassen and Plumas counties and even parts of Modoc County in a bit of a deficit, right? But of course, not looking at that drought monitor situation. But there you can see this cutoff, right? Right here, from the Bay Area northward, for the most part, no rain deficit. Again, with the exception of the north and east. But then you head down to Central and Southern California, quite the deficit. And especially where we're seeing the fires, you're seeing a major deficit, over 2-3 inches of rain deficit, right? So we need a lot more rainfall over Southern California. They just haven't seen it like we have here, even for just the last 30 days. Now the winds this afternoon, later this evening, should start to subside, but here's the problem. The winds over the weekend, look at this. Here we are Saturday at around noon. We got your classic Santa Ana winds, those winds coming in from the northeast down to the south and west. Those go down the mountains, that air compresses, it heats up, it dries things out, and you got very high dangerous fire conditions out there. That's Saturday. Let's take a look at Sunday, and you can see Sunday still looking at your classic Santa Ana wind event setting up here for Sunday as well. Now this is the fire weather risk we're going to take a look at for Southern California. This takes into account temperature, winds, and humidity. Now since it's not going to be terribly warm, that's taking this out of the factor here. If it was getting a lot warmer out there, we probably would be in the oranges and reds. But because the temperatures aren't going to be quite as warm, we're looking at lower fire weather risk. That being said, yellows here indicating where we are seeing the best potential for fire weather risk. Not only for Saturday, but we may begin to see that light up a little bit here as we go into Sunday as well. So things not looking all that great over the weekend here for Southern California, as much as I hate to say it. Now here in Northern California, today, calm winds for the valley for the most part. A little gusty off to the east, winds picking up this afternoon here for the coast, but tomorrow I think the valley will see breezy, borderline windy conditions for Saturday afternoon, especially as you can see here for the foothills east of the valley, but not that bad elsewhere, with the exception of the coast, still seeing some gusty winds there. The winds may be a little bit weaker on Sunday, but we'll still call it breezy on Sunday, even for the coast. But once again, as you can see elsewhere, the winds aren't going to be quite as bad. So here you can see the disturbance right here. That's going to be the contributing factor to some of the rain that we will see here for today. Now let's show you where that's going to be. Here you can see at 10 o'clock this morning, most of it's in Del Norte County, but everyone else still looking at dry conditions. By around midday, now it's entering western Siskiyou, northern Humboldt, and even parts of Eureka, seeing some of these light showers as well. This is a pretty healthy band of rain, so for a brief period of time, some of these areas may see some moderate rainfall, but it won't last for very long as it's going to move through fairly quickly. As you can see, by around midday, 1 o'clock this afternoon, now it's in central Siskiyou County, eastern Siskiyou County, and even Modoc County is seeing some activity here. You'll also notice north of Highway 299 in Trinity County, yeah, maybe a light shower there as well. Then we go to about 3 o'clock this afternoon, it's really beginning to break apart. But places like Bernie, northeastern Shasta County could see a stray shower as well, or a sprinkle, but otherwise everyone else will be looking at dry conditions. Here we are as we go into your Saturday. Yeah, you've got the clear skies in store for us. All the clouds will be off to our west. There may be some cloud development Saturday afternoon around Humboldt Bay, south of that as well, but otherwise, Sunday, also looking at mainly sunny skies. And of course, those winds that I mentioned here are expected to pick up as well. A little bit more on that here. Of course, we just kind of talked about that. But taking a look at the amount of rainfall we expect out of this, I think most of the measurable rainfall will be in Delaware County. I think parts of Delaware County could pick upwards of a tenth of an inch of rainfall, or maybe a little bit more in some cases here, but otherwise less than a tenth of an inch of rainfall where we do see rain elsewhere. Otherwise, it's dry for pretty much everyone else. So again, we've got this kink in the jet stream. That's the disturbance that's pushing through, giving us the showers that we do expect to see for parts of Northern California today. This is going to take the path of an inside slider. You see how it kind of dives down to the south and east. Now that's important to take note, because look what's happening with the jet stream. Here you have this broad area of high pressure. See this big circle? That's the high pressure, the center of it. We've got the ridge right here. We talk about these ridges of high pressure. But notice where we are in the positioning of that high pressure. We're on the east side of that ridge, and that's got those winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere blowing from north to south. This is a classic setup for some gusty winds at times. That's going to be the case for Saturday, and looks like even Sunday we're going to continue with that positioning of that jet stream, keeping things breezy, borderline windy. Now notice this little kink right here. This area of low pressure will be moving through on Monday. That'll probably keep the winds up a little bit here for us here in Northern California on Monday, but still dry. This low pressure system will continue to dive down to the south. Our winds will finally die down for us here in Northern California, but this could continue to bring some winds here, unfortunately, for Southern California. Now, one of the redeeming factors with this is there's the potential. It's not showing it right now, but the potential towards the end of next week, as this pushes through, it could maybe bring us some light rain into Southern California, but really will have minimal impacts, unfortunately. Drier than normal conditions here are in our long range over the next 10 days, and cooler than normal as well. So despite the fact that we are going to be looking at more sunshine, we're keeping temperatures a little bit on the cooler side here. Let's take a look at those lake levels, and you can see we're not seeing them rise as much as they were a couple of weeks ago. That's just because we're just not seeing as much rain now, right? So we're not going to see them rise. However, we're doing great here in Northern California when we're talking wet weather, lakes, snowpack, the works, right? Because historical average, we're about 125 to 130% of average. Can't complain about that. Things are looking good there. Hey, maybe you're heading out to the ski park today. I know my son has got alpine practice. I'll be taking him out there here later on today. But there you can see at the summit about 60 inches of snow. Things are looking pretty good with 100% open. That's pretty good there too. Did mention a little bit earlier, there's a beach hazard statement for the coast here until 6 o'clock today. Just note that sneaker waves are going to be the biggest concern here for today. Looking at your wave heights for today, as you can see, they're kind of increasing a little bit here as we go into tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. Unfortunately, as a result, there will eventually be a small craft advisory, but not until later this afternoon and evening. In the meantime, just some isolated showers with those north winds at about 5 to 10 knots. All right, here's your neighborhood forecast for Trinity County. So you'll see we've got the mainly dry conditions. Now, as I mentioned, north of Highway 299, we could see a stray shower. Coffee Creek, Trinity Center. If you see a sprinkle or a light shower this afternoon, don't be surprised, but don't count on much. Dry for everyone else today, 57 degrees for Forest Glen, 56 out in Wildwood and Mad River, about 55 degrees. Let's take you out to the north coast, and there you can see we've got those temperatures in the upper 50s to low 60s. I'm expecting dry conditions for southern Humboldt County, but for places like Ferndale, Fortuna, Hydesville, Rio Dell, if you see a stray sprinkle today, especially this morning, don't be surprised, but don't count on much. Same situation heading northward. The chances for showers increase as we head north into northern Humboldt, and especially for Del Norte County. You got those isolated showers, but it's dry for the weekend and dry through next week as well. Here's a look at Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, and again, you can see a chance for some showers here by around midday. That'll also be the case for Scott Valley with 51 degrees for Greenview, 54 in Callahan, and 51 degrees out in Fort Jones. And for central eastern Siskiyou County, midday, early afternoon, a chance for some showers. Nothing heavy is expected, most likely less than 1/10 of an inch of rain, 52 for Weed, 53 for Mount Shasta City, and 49 degrees for Tule Lake. Here's your Modoc County neighborhood forecast. Mid-afternoon, we're seeing a chance for some showers. Again, nothing heavy is expected. 49 for Alturas and California Pines, and 48 degrees for Aden. For the eastern mountains, all right, so we take a look at Bernie. Bernie, you actually may see a stray sprinkle here by around midday today, but don't count on much. Otherwise, it's dry throughout the day today. We take you down to Lake Almanor and also out towards Lassen Park. You can see, of course, the dry conditions for you today. I'm expecting for the eastern mountains to be dry today and really over the next 7 days as well. Paradise looks like you'll be looking at dry conditions, as well as Susanville. Those temperatures are going to be in the 40s and mainly 50s for those daytime highs today. Your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by our friends at Walgamith Painting. Of course, those temperatures are going to be in the low 60s. 60 degrees for Chico, although a little bit cooler out in Red Bluff at about 58 degrees. 56 for the city of Shasta Lake, 55 in Lakehead, 58 for Anderson, and looks like Cottonwood a high of about 58 degrees. Let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for Redding, and temperatures upper 50s to about 60 for that daytime high as we take you into the weekend and even into next week as well. As I mentioned, unfortunately, it does look like it is going to remain dry for the extended period here, unfortunately. We could certainly use some rainfall, but not going to happen. And looking at the long range, 10 days plus, I'm just not seeing anything all that promising right now when it comes to rainfall. So we certainly could use more rain, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And I know some people are starting to get concerned about that. Keep in mind, we don't have a deficit right now. Snowpack is looking good. Our lakes are looking good. This break that we're seeing right now is not going to break the bank. However, if we keep it dry for the rest of the month, then we might be dealing with a little bit of a problem here. But fingers crossed, hopefully things will take a change and for the better as we start seeing the potential for hopefully more rainfall in the forecast. We've got a few reports coming in here this morning. We've got Rowdy Kelly seeing a mixed bag of high clouds in Fortuna. All right, yeah. I forgot to put in, let's see if I can get that going up here. Give me just a second, folks. We'll get that loaded up here and let's see what it looks like in, oh, that looks pretty nice. Let's do this. Going to go into Real Link. That looks good. Ooh, let's take a look at it. So that's what it looks like right now in just north of Trinidad. This is an elk country camera that I put up there. This is the first camera that I ever put up before I even launched Weather NorCal, and would you believe it? It is still running. I haven't been there to check on it for a year and a half. It's connected to their Wi-Fi there, and it still works beautifully. Every once in a while, it'll kind of shut down if there's a power outage or whatnot, but this has been my go-to camera here for the coast. It's been great. So yeah, you can see there. But of course, this is not a representation of what we're seeing here from Rowdy Kelly, which is, Rowdy is in Fortuna. Let's see what else we got going on out there this morning here. We've got Tracy Sackett. She is saying good morning and welcome back. Thank you so very much. We've also got Chrissy. I'm just going to leave it at the camera here because it's just a beautiful shot, right? Good morning from James, saying having a great day. Chrissy is saying good morning, welcome back. Nice this morning in Upper Shingletown. Yeah, it looks like we are seeing a bit of a temperature inversion, actually, noticed out there in Shingletown. We've also got Curtis Brown. As far as rain goes, we had 7.65 for December and 17.36 today. Well, thank you, Curtis, for that update here. Maybe I'll do kind of an update here next week, taking a look at how we're doing with the rainfall season. But rainfall season is looking good. We've got Chris saying good morning from Bieber. Our Cocker Spaniels are sure enjoying this weather. Our prayers are with Southern California, absolutely. And we've got Nick Woods saying good morning and glad you had a good vacation. Well, thank you, Nick. I certainly appreciate the well wishes there, and certainly, again, just a gorgeous sight that we are seeing there. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, yeah, let's take a look at the cameras that we do have right now out in Lake Oroville out there this morning. You can see the sun is just beginning to kind of come up over the horizon there, turning out to be a gorgeous sight, as a matter of fact. I'm going to take you back to this, to this camera here, and I'm going to see if I can't get the camera up on the coast here in Crescent City, because there is a beautiful camera there, as many of you may or may not know. Let's see if we can get this thing loaded up here. And oh, yeah, that is, I'm like, oh yeah, that's nice. Check it out, check it out. This is out of Crescent City Harbor District. We got that beautiful sunrise, just those colors coming out here. Every once in a while, we might even see a seagull come out here on the roof. We actually have one that we named George. I haven't seen George in a while. Of course, I've been gone for a couple of weeks, but there's a bird off flying in the distance right now this morning, and you've got the calm winds. Things are looking good. If you do need to be out on that fishing boat to check everything out here, let's take a look at the cameras out here, taken again at Elk Country, just north of Trinidad. Things are looking pretty good there as well. Of course, we saw that a little bit earlier here. Let's take a look at some of the other cameras in the area as well. This is out looking at Lake Oroville, North Forebay. And you can see again, just a little bit of a light breeze it looks like out there this morning. Otherwise, it looks like things are looking pretty good. All right, that is going to do it for this morning here on Coffee with Krueger. Once again, I want to thank everyone for their well wishes and of course for becoming back, getting back from vacation and the works. It has been a great vacation, but now it's time to get back to reality and back to work. And I'm here feeling refreshed and ready to go for you. Let's wrap up with a couple of cameras. In the meantime, have yourselves a great Friday. Of course, it is Friday. What a great time to start work, right on a Friday after a nice long vacation. Of course, Chase Wilson will be in over the weekend to give you updates here for Saturday and Sunday, and I'll be back again on Monday. In the meantime, be sure to check my updates throughout the day today at noon, also at 6 o'clock this evening for the latest forecast. Until then, have a great weekend, and we'll see you later, folks. Have a good morning. Bye.